Elias had been a mercenary pilot, ferrying supplies across disputed star systems when his craft was shot down by raiders near the border of Sath territory. He survived the crash, only to be captured by a hunting party who dragged him to their settlement as both prisoner and curiosity. The Sath had never encountered a human before, but their legend spoke of softskins from the stars, who survived where they should have perished, who fought with cunning rather than brute force. Some dismissed him as frail. Others whispered he was an omen. The matron, a stern ruler cloaked in scales as black as midnight, decreed he would live, at least until his worth was tested. That chance came sooner than Elias expected. One night, in the great feast hall, Korath mocked him before the gathered tribe, calling him a meat thing unfit to even carry a warrior's spear. Elias, weary of humiliation, spat back words of defiance. The challenge was inevitable. By Sath law, a challenge between males could not be refused, and the penalty for defeat was death. But for victory, the reward was greater than Elias could have imagined. The middle, combat and custom. The battle in the arena raged with primal intensity. Korath swung his axe in great arcs, each blow strong enough to split a tree. Elias dodged, rolled, and countered with lightning strikes from his blade. He fought not with brute strength but with speed and strategy, conserving energy while Korath exhausted himself in fury. Blood sprayed. Scales cracked. At one point, Korath's strike clipped Elias's shoulder, nearly sending him to the ground. But Elias had learned long ago, in the deserts of Mars, in the alleys of Titan's outposts, that the moment you looked defeated was the moment you died. When Korath overextended with a wild swing, Elias darted inside his guard and drove the alien blade through the champion's chest. The crowd fell silent. Korath collapsed with a thunderous weight, his lifeblood spilling into the crimson dust. His eyes dimmed, but before he died, he rasped words that Elias did not understand fully at the time. "You are her mate now, by blood, by law." The arena erupted into thunderous howls, half in celebration, half in outrage. Elias stood panting, blade dripping, as warriors stamped their feet in acknowledgement of the outcome. The matron rose, her voice booming. "By ancient custom, the victor claims what the vanquished possessed. So it is written. So it shall be. Elias, ward of the stars, you are now bound to Serenya." Elias blinked, stunned. The alien woman was led forward, draped in silver adornments, her emerald-scaled skin shimmering under the lightning. Her eyes, deep gold with flecks of amber, locked on his. She was neither angry nor submissive. Instead, her gaze carried a strange, assessing weight, as though she were deciding what kind of man fate had thrust upon her. "I do not belong to you," she said softly in her own tongue, though the matron translated aloud. "But by our law you belong to me." The bond, uneasy alliance. The days that followed were filled with tension. Serenya was no meek prize. She was a warrior in her own right, schooled in the arts of command and combat. To her, Elias was an intruder, a foreigner who had slain her mate, however cruel Korath had been. At first, she kept her distance, speaking only when required. Elias, equally wary, struggled with the alien customs forced upon him. He had no desire to claim ownership over anyone. He wanted only freedom, perhaps even a way back to human space. Yet survival required cooperation. Other warriors challenged Elias openly, jealous of his sudden rise in status. It was Serenya who saved him more than once, teaching him the subtleties of Sath culture, warning him of hidden rivalries, and standing at his side in public when whispers grew too loud. Gradually, grudging respect began to form. Elias discovered that beneath her proud exterior, Serenya despised Koroth, who had treated her more as a trophy than a partner. She admitted, almost reluctantly, that Elias's defiance and courage intrigued her. "You fight differently," she told him one night by the fire. "Not like a beast, but like someone who sees the battle before it happens. That is why you won. That is why you live." And Elias, for the first time, allowed himself to admit that Serenya was not just beautiful in her alien way, but fiercely intelligent, sharp-witted, and, despite her people's customs, deeply honorable. Rising conflict, the council's wrath. Their fragile bond was soon tested. The Sath Council, composed of elders who guarded tradition with iron claws, declared that Elias's victory was an insult to their ways. A soft skin had no right to stand above their warriors, no right to claim a daughter of the matron. Some demanded his execution. Others called for Serenya to be taken from him, claiming that her bond to a human tainted the bloodlines. But the matron stood firm. "The law is older than us all. He won the right. To deny him is to deny the ancestors." This did not silence dissent. Instead, it fanned the flames of rebellion. Elias soon found himself the target of assassination attempts. Poisoned food. Blades in the dark. Ambushes on the hunt. Through it all, Serenya remained at his side. Not because she was bound, but because, against her own expectations, she had chosen to stand with him. "You may not be of my people," she whispered after one close escape, "but you fight as though you are." The final trial. Proving humanity's worth. The conflict reached its peak when a rival warlord challenged Elias's claim, gathering followers who rejected the matron's authority. He invoked a greater tradition, the trial of dominion, a battle not of individuals but of pairs, bonded warrior and mate fighting together against challengers. If Elias and Serenya refused, they would both be executed. If they lost, Elias would die, and Serenya would be forced to bond with the victor. For the first time, Elias and Serenya fought not against each other, but as one. The battle was brutal. Alien warriors lunged with spears and axes, their roars shaking the arena. Elias moved with speed, his blade darting like lightning, while Serenya fought beside him, her twin short spears whirling in deadly arcs. They covered each other's blind spots, trusted each other's timing, and struck with precision born not of long practice but of instinctive unity. When the dust cleared, they stood bloodied but unbroken, their challengers sprawled lifeless around them. The arena thundered with chants. Even those who despised Elias could not deny what they had witnessed. A human and a Sath, fighting as true mates, victorious against all odds. Ending a new path. The council had no choice but to acknowledge the outcome. By law and by spectacle, Elias's bond with Serenya